Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You're listening to episode 225. Today we're talking about manifesting and how to let go. I'm hypnotist Jim Kellner, and of course, I'm once again joining Victoria Gallagher. She's the Law of Attraction hypnotist and the #1 best-selling author of the Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desire. She's also the founder of HipTalk.com and the HypnoCloud apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. Be sure and download that app from the app stores. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Good. Lovely introduction. Oh, I love that. I just want to bring up your award behind you. What did you win
Yes.
that
Oh,
beautiful award for?
well, I won that from Miss Susie Bowers for the and you were a part of this too. You won an award also,
I did.
the Global Hypnotherapy Summit. I am the Stage Hypnotist of the Year, Global Hypnotherapy Summit
I
2022.
love it. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And
And Victoria. Yeah.
I got the author of the year
Wow.
from this
Fantastic.
same summit, but mine,
Awesome.
it won't fit.
Ah.
It won't fit. So I've got it over there.
Hey, I've got a goal for each of us. Next year, we swap and you become Stage Hypnotist of the Year and I become Author of the Year.
Okay. All right. You got
All
to
right.
teach me stage hypnosis. Maybe I need to come and take a class
You know,
to
we've got
learn
some
how to do
show.
stage hypnosis.
We've got some shows coming up that I will I have to send you the list for. They're in Phoenix.
Ooh, can't wait
Just
to come.
yeah, fun
Yes,
times.
definitely.
Sounds good. So so we've been talking about manifesting and
One of my favorite topics.
yes, I hope everybody listened to last week's episode. It was really good. This week we're doing a little bit more about like letting go of that. And so I guess along that line, what if you think you're doing everything right and you're still not having success with manifesting what you want? My beach house has still not aperialized. Aperialized? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Materialized or appeared. Yeah, aperialized.
Imperialized. There we go. That's a new word. I like.
I'll be
Maybe we
wordsmith of
should.
the year.
Yeah, maybe we should turn that into a word.
All
Well,
right.
if you think you're doing everything right, then maybe you're not.
Oh,
That could
shoot.
that could be one of the because so when I talk about the manifesting conditions, right? And so let's just kind of go through those one by one real quickly. So you got your desire. Is your desire on board? Check. You probably have strong,
Yep.
clear desire. Is your thinking in alignment with what you want? Are all of your thoughts lined up with, yes, I can have this. Yes, I'm creating this. And if your thoughts are all lined up, are you imagining the best case scenario? Are your visualizations, or, do sometimes your visualizations start to go off and start to, uh, produce images that maybe are not in alignment, because these are tricky little thoughts that we can have. And sometimes we think that we're all in alignment, but then, if we really examine each of these conditions, get into the belief. Do we really believe? Is our vibration really where we want it? Are we really lined up with receiving the ideas and insights from creative attraction? Are we taking the right actions, and are we feeling the gratitude? All of those. So it's a lot, it's a lot to be lined up with, but you need them all. And I think one of the things, though, that can really inhibit a person from manifesting, is those pesky little feelings of desperation and wanting it too bad. Sometimes we can want something, so bad, and this is probably the hardest and one of the most seemingly contradictory things to the whole, you want what you want because you want it, right? Like, but
Yeah.
then I'm going to tell you that you have to do one of the hardest things, and that is that you have to let it go. Gotta let it go. Gotta
You're
let it
blowing my
go.
mind. You're blowing
Let
my mind.
it let it
But if
go.
I but if I let it go, then I won't get it.
And
How do I go ahead?
that's the fear. If you let
Yeah.
it go, you won't get it. Because here's the thing, when you are holding on so tightly to what you want, what it's doing, I mean, like relax your hand and just notice how your hand feels. Your hand feels, pretty good, relaxed, calm. You have like good feelings in your hand, right?
Yeah.
Now make a fist and just squeeze your fists tight as possible, as tight as possible, as tight as possible. What's
Yeah.
happening when you make that fist? How does your hand feel now?
Well, not very comfortable.
Right? And it
Yeah.
it actually kind of hurts a little bit, and it's
Hmm.
creating actually a negative reaction. You're starting to sweat.
Hmm. Yeah.
You're feeling negative thought. You're feeling negative, you're feeling tension, you're feeling stress, you're feeling anxious. And so when you want what you want so badly, it has a tendency to create even more negative thoughts, more negative feelings, beliefs that reinforce I can't have what I want. And then that the negative thoughts, the negative feelings, the negative beliefs may even be having you do things that aren't in alignment with what you want.
Gotcha. Hmm.
Like, for example, have you ever been so head over heels for somebody, and then you end up,
Oh my God.
calling,
Yeah.
you end
Oh
up calling them way too many times.
man, more times than I care to remember. That does make sense when you're, yeah, I mean, boy, it seems like a tightrope though. It is tough to figure out exactly how many times you can text the thing that you're trying to manifest before they start thinking you're weird and they run away from you and you don't get what you want.
Exactly. And it's like it's counter
Yeah,
manifesting.
right.
And, so it's actually chasing the thing away, the very thing, because it's making you take weird actions that are ultimately going to take you further away from your goal.
Hmm. Boy, so how do we walk that tightrope? How do we know how much, how little um to do it?
Yeah. I mean, so so letting go is not synonymous with giving up. And that's what I want to make clear. So, like, for
Okay.
example, when I was manifesting my husband, for example, there was a moment in our relationship many years ago where I wanted to get engaged, and I had made my vision board, and I was doing my visualization every day. And a couple of months into this real intense process, and he didn't know what I was doing, but a couple months in, he tells me he doesn't want to ever get married. And so, what did I do? Did I give up on my goal of wanting to get married? No. What I did was I took that sort of as a sign that I needed to let go of him. But I still made it my goal that I was going to get engaged. So I
Okay.
I I let go of the how I was going to get engaged.
Hmm.
And that's really what letting go is all about. It's still keeping the manifestation in your mind and still working on it, but having the faith and the trust in the universe to show you how that's going to show up. So I truly, truly just let it go and detached. And within a few months, he ends up coming back and proposing. And that wasn't designed or intended that I was necessarily going to get him back, but it
Hmm.
was a sign to let go, to just like, okay, I've got to let go of this thing for now. It's not going to
Hmm.
happen exactly with who or how or when and all of that. But now you kind of loosen up and you sort of lighten up. And it's not that you give up, it's just that you loosen up your grip, your firm grip on it.
Okay. So you don't have to give up completely. You just sort of, um, just you maybe focus on other stuff or something.
Right,
Um,
right. Because think about it, like the very idea in and of itself that it's not here yet. Like, so
yeah,
you verbalized, yeah, it's not showing up. It's not here yet. It's not happening fast enough. It's not going the right way. Where is it? When is it going to happen?
yeah.
All that, all that conversation is causing negative thinking. It's causing negative emotion. It's causing fear, worry, disappointment, distress, neediness, anxiety. Right. And so when you're worried and you're holding on so tight to something, it's actually creating a negative vibration. It's actually creating negative
Mm.
thoughts. It's actually creating more of the same feelings, which reinforce the feelings that it's never coming.
So, keeping the example of the beach house thing going on.
Yeah.
Um, so I have no context. I have no idea how long that should take. It's supposed to take or anything. So how do I even know, if it's not coming fast enough? I mean, it's not coming fast enough for me because I want it now because I'm an American and I want it now. Um,
Right. Well, do you feel like you're attached to it? Do you feel like you're, because to me, when you say you're not sure when it's coming or how it's coming or any of that, I mean, that to me, that's a pretty good, healthy place to be with it. In
yeah, I'm
unless,
not losing sleep over it. I'm not stressing about it or anything. And I got to tell you, I think you mentioned the last episode, about the visualization thing. And then you mentioned it's something about it again. Are you doing all the right things? And I realized I can't remember the last time I did my visualization. I got off track when I was getting ready for Vegas and then went to Vegas for the conference. And honestly, it could have been easily a month, 2 months. I have no idea.
yeah, it could be really easy to let other things kind of distract us and sort of derail our law of attraction action plan. And there is a law of attraction action plan, your manifesting routine
Mhm.
that you use each day to really, it's about solidifying those good feelings, and it's about solidifying that belief, and it's about keeping it in focus, because when it's not in your focus,
Mhm.
so it's really you said the word pretty eloquently. It's that tightrope between wanting what you want and being clear about that, and doing the manifesting work on it, but at the same time not allowing that to disturb your vibration to the point where it's like, yeah, you're losing sleep over it and it's becoming no fun. The whole
Yeah.
point of this is really to design our life to feel good, to allow ourselves to live in the present moment, feeling grateful, feeling present, feeling all the things that we want to feel, as if we were
Mhm.
already living in our dream life, as if we were already living in our dream home, our beach home, wherever we want to be. And then as we feel the good feelings and not the lack of it, not the like, I don't have it yet, so I'm not going to be happy right now. So I'm just not going to be happy until the thing happens. We want to do whatever we need to do to have our state be happy now.
Yeah. The relationship thing metaphor you used was so spot on because I think about dating and back when I was dating, and if I become focused on one girl and I'm desperate and needy and oh my God, I've got to have this woman or my life will end.
Hmm.
Um, very seldom are they interested. It's when you don't need anybody, when you want someone in your life, but you're having a good time anyway. Like you said, you're just out, you're enjoying your life, you're living your life. That's when the magic sort of happens. And I guess it's the same way with manifesting.
It really, well, and that is
I
manifesting,
guess it is, yeah.
and other
I mean,
people can
manifesting
feel
the beach house.
other people can feel it too. It's like, have you ever been around somebody that's like, you could just feel the desperation on them. You can
Oh
just
God,
feel
I have a
like,
friend like that. I'm like, oh, dude, please just calm down. Yeah.
And it's like you don't that's where the vibrations, like, you can't see a vibration, but you can feel it. And
Yeah.
you can feel other people's, like, they're emitting that ew, like, I can't, I can't be around this person right now because they're just feel so needy and desperate and
Yeah.
clingy and and I don't want to feel that. But when somebody's like, they're happy with themselves, they're okay, they've detached. Sure, they'd love to be in a relationship with somebody, but they don't need to be in a relationship with somebody. They're manifesting it, and they're just happy-go-lucky, and they're interested in you, and they're actually, instead of coming from, because a lot of it, when you're trying to manifest a person, you're also coming from this, what can I get from you? You're trying
Hmm.
to get that energy. You're trying to get that person. You think that that person is going to make you feel a certain way, and that's why you want them. That's why you
Yeah.
want to be with somebody, because you think that they're responsible for changing how you feel. And really, we're responsible for our own feelings. And when we flip the switch on, when we're, rather than looking for somebody to make us feel good, but we flip the switch and say, what do I have to help other people to feel good? How can I help other people feel good about themselves? Then you come across as more magnetic. People feel good in your presence because that's your intention. Your intention is, how can I help other people? I have something to give. I'm valuable. And that you become charismatic, and you become magnetic, and you become somebody that somebody, really, they feel good around your presence. They want to be around you. And eh, by almost magic, coming, just flipping that switch from what can I get to what can I give,
Yeah. That's good.
you're gonna you're gonna just gonna become more magnetic to the it's not the opposite sex anymore. It's the other to
Uh-oh, we're getting
how
banned now.
how do you how do you say it?
The
To the
person you're interested
object of
in.
your desire.
Right. The Power of Your Mind podcast just got controversial, people.
Just trying to look for the new words.
Right, exactly. Oh, and believe me, on stage it's difficult. You, person, yeah, you. Name tags are awesome.
Yes.
It's and what a great way to think about it. And it reminds me of the my favorite quote, really, of Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. So if you're that awesome person putting out all that positive energy, you're going to get that back for the
You
most part.
really are. Yeah,
So
yeah, you
yeah.
really are. It's kind of the same thing with anything, when you think about yourself, as a potential candidate for a job that you're looking for. Again,
Mhm.
the person who's going to get that job is, not about, like, how much money you're going to pay me, and what are
Right.
my what are
Right.
my days off, and what are all the benefits, what are you going to do for me? The person more likely that's going to get that job is thinking, how can I help this organization to, what do I have to contribute? And they know their worth, and they know that they have a value, that they're contributing to the world and to this organization or to this other person, to make that other person's life, easier. So it's all in a spirit of giving, and that, reciprocation, that the law of reciprocation. So when you give, then people are more likely to, to want to give something back to you. It's just a law of reciprocation.
Yeah. And I found the same thing when I switched my focus. I do it when I do a hypnotherapy or like a show consultation from, what can I get out of this as to what can I give? And if I really feel like I can help somebody with either a show or hypnotherapy, then I owe it to them to help them, as opposed to just, you know, I need to get this person on so I can, make the car payment this month or something like that, for instance.
Yeah. David Snyder had mentioned something on his Instagram the other day, and it really kind of hit home with me about public speaking and
Hmm.
how a lot of people who go on stage to public speak, if they're having speaking anxiety, and they're, well, it's because when they have that anxiety because they're worrying about, like, what, are they going to get the applause, or are people, how are they
Yeah.
looking, how are they being perceived, how do I look, it's all
Right.
about me. But when you flip it to, I'm not even here to do a good job. I'm here to change people's lives. I'm here to make sure that all the people out there that are sitting in those chairs get something out of this. So, how can I be of service? And when you come from that approach of, how can I give? What do I have to give? And again, you're coming from a place that I have something to give. And,
Yeah.
so I think that, really, and I know, we've kind of gotten a little bit off track on that it's about letting go, but it is, in a way, it's about letting go of what you perceive as something that is, you need to get something outside of you. And you really don't. You have everything that you need inside of you.
Well, so I mean, it's kind of easy for us to say, just let go when we're not in that moment, but when you really, really want something, and I mean, I can remember thinking about as a little kid, looking through the big Sears catalog, and I wanted this dune bug, and I wanted it so desperately that I would have done anything for it. I mean, how can we possibly let go of those things that we just, oh, I just needed that person I met, or that beach house. How do I let go of that thing that I really, really want?
Well, okay, so I want you to think about something that you currently have right now
Mhm.
that at one time you did not have.
Okay.
Okay. And so I want you to think about, how were you feeling when you were just about to get that, or when you just started thinking that you wanted that? Like, so think about how you felt before you had it.
Mhm.
And how was that? Well, how did you feel then?
Excited?
Excited. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Now, so that's how a lot of people think that they are supposed to feel in order, as they're manifesting. They think, um well, if I had this thing, I would feel excited. So then they go in and they feel excited, right? But now, once you have this thing and it's just like a normal everyday part of your life, how do you feel right now about that thing that you have? Like your phone, for instance, your iPhone. Like,
Yeah.
before you got your phone, you probably felt one way.
Yeah.
You were anticipating the new phone, and it was like,
Yeah.
"Oh," before. But now that you have it, and you've been using it for a while, how do you feel about it?
I think it's great. It serves a purpose. That's about it. That's not I like it a lot. But I remember too, like I was, when before I was getting the phone, I was obsessed about it. I was just looking online, looking at all the features and everything. And now I mean, I don't really care that much, you know. It's
Yeah.
got cool features.
So that's essentially how we wanna get to, in our, our manifest. That's how we wanna feel. How that's ultimately the feeling that we want to put ourselves in, is that feeling of, like, how you would feel if you actually have it. You're not
Mm,
even
right.
necessarily excited about it now that you have it. It's just a normal part of your life. And so that would be one way to let it go, is to just kind of stop feeling like it's something that you don't have.
Right.
And start to actually feel like it is something that you already have. How would you feel if you're in this relationship? How would you be feeling if you're already in this beach house? How would you be feeling if your business was, taken off? And you begin to think from and act from and feel from that state of mind, like you're not separate from it anymore. It's that separation and that fear and that doubt is that perception that we're never going to have it. That pushes it even further away from us and causes us to want to cling to it. We wouldn't feel the need to cling to it if we actually believed that it was a normal everyday part of our life. It would just be kind of like we just our normal everyday part of life.
Right. Just like those things that I mean, it's such a good example. I mean, I think about, I mean, just why is it any different? It's just, yeah, it's weird. I mean, is there anything else I can do to just sort of let that go, to just feel kind of normal about it?
Yeah.
Anything
So
else?
another thing to be like truly is to be truly at peace with it. And, again,
Okay.
this is all still like a balancing act. Like we talked, walking that tightrope between like you're still putting it out there, that you're manifesting this thing.
Okay.
You're still saying your desire statement. You're still looking at your vision board. You're connecting with it. Still taking action on it. You're still moving toward it. But at the same time, when how people say like, well, if I don't have this thing, I'm going to be, this is how I'm going to feel. It's going to make me really sad. It's
Right.
going to be, I'm going to be really sad if I don't get my way. And, I remember actually saying that, a week before I left for Vegas
Oh.
because my husband ended up getting sick and couldn't come with me
Mhm.
to the event. And I literally said that. Like I even texted like as if he could do anything about it, but
Yeah.
it was just like I'm not perfect at this, but I literally said, I'm going to be really disappointed and really sad if you can't come.
Bet that made him feel better.
Yeah, and and then of course, what happened? I mean,
Mhm.
he ended up, not being able to come and I there was that moment where I was super attached to it. And then there was the moment where things kind of started looking like he wasn't, going to be able to make it with me. And I made peace with it. And I once you kind of like realize that there's a different plan out there. Well, you have to kind of look at the other side of
Mm.
this. Well, it was, I mean, if he had come, then it wouldn't have given me the time in my hotel by myself to really just sit and gather my thoughts and get in my headspace where I really needed to be to deliver the content. No, I'd be busy and we'd be out, doing stuff and just because of the thing that ended up happening at the event, then that would have taken a whole other negative turn. There's just all these other things that ultimately it just was not meant to be that way. And so I had to just kind of like make peace with it and realize, you know what? There's an even better plan. There's an even better plan.
Yeah, good point. So you're able to just kind of be at peace with it. Just, I mean, it does seem different. I mean, 'cause I'm just trying to think about the last time I really wanted something,
Mhm.
um, and maybe it's a show or something. I guess I'm pretty good at it. I sort of just let it go. But I mean, what if I couldn't? I mean, is there other steps I could take to be kind of just happy about it, or I mean, at least
Yeah.
kind of be at peace? Like, it's
I mean,
okay.
I think one of the things too is just taking that ultimatum off the table about how upset you're going to be that
Hmm.
the thing isn't happening. Like people are
Right.
literally threatening the universe or they're threatening themselves or they're threatening the other person that like if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be sad. You got to take that ultimatum off the table. It's not that this has to happen or nothing because something else can happen that could be just as great as whatever it is that you're holding on to.
Hmm.
But unless you let go of that thing, then you're not even going to be able to see it. You're not even going to be able to see the opportunity because you're focused on this has to happen. And, so sometimes manifesting doesn't necessarily mean that you get the exact thing that you want in the exact way that you want at the exact time that you want in the, all of that. It means that there's something you're in the right direction, you're focusing in the right realm of what you want. So you have to allow yourself to kind of broaden and blur out the field of possibility, and you've got to trust that you're going to be happy no matter what happens.
Mm,
There may be just to the left of of center. If you're focusing on this in the center, maybe you just expand the realm just a little bit and say, okay, let me just widen this focus a little bit instead of narrowing. Sometimes you have the narrow focus, but it can be too narrow.
mm,
And when it's too narrow, that's when people have, if it's so narrow that it starts to kind of feel like this isn't going to happen, then you got to like widen that lens a little bit.
gotcha. Gotcha. I was just thinking I was just trying to think about that. Like I think the things that I really want now, that I may or may not get are like, are opportunities like gigs and things like that. And I
Hmm.
think that one of the fortunate things about being a performer is you get rejected a lot.
Yes.
And so, because I mean, really, you mostly get rejected, especially when you first start. And so it sort of like builds up this bulletproof vest almost where like, okay, move
Yeah.
on. I mean, that was a great opportunity, but I didn't get it. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
really
it's like,
fortunate.
yeah, it's like learning. So you've really learned that like what's important to you is that you get a gig. But if you were so narrow focused on it has to be this gig at UCLA in, with 500 teenagers or whatever,
Yeah,
and then if that's all you're focused on, but yet, and the phone's ringing, you're not
yeah,
even picking the phone up
yeah,
to allow yourself the possibility that there might just be one in San Diego that's
yeah,
for 1,000 people.
yeah,
And so it's kind of like just really broadening that focus. The main thing is what is he what is the feeling that you're ultimately wanting to create? What is the experience that you're ultimately wanting to have? And I'll just kind of allowing yourself to loosen up that grip. I wish people, who are like trying to manifest a soulmate, like that's the biggest thing, because so many times people just get their head just so laser focused on it has to be this one person, that
yeah.
please help make this one person love
Right.
me, and if that one person, I mean, they just get so like it's got to be that person. And what people have to realize is that, sometimes it's just not going to be that one specific person, but you're going to find somebody that's even better, somebody that loves you, somebody that is perfect for you, where that person obviously isn't perfect for you, because if they were, they would be with you right now.
Right. Right. And how many times have you looked back and just said, "Oh wow, I really dodged a bullet on that one. Wow,
Oh,
thank God that didn't work out."
yeah, exactly. And, I mean, practically, I mean, I'm with the person that I'm meant to be with right now. And, we had our own interesting journey of getting here. And I'm glad that I let go when I did, because if I hadn't, then it wouldn't have worked out as perfectly as it ultimately did. And so, he needed to come around and see what he was giving up in his own way, in his own time. And if I had tried to push my agenda on that situation, it just would not have worked out as well as it did.
Right. So, we talked about a couple of things. Anything else that we need to know about this? Letting go of the process, I guess, the
Yeah, I think another thing
thing?
that can really help us to let go is practicing gratitude.
Hmm,
Gratitude is really one of the big keys, because gratitude just can really help you to put yourself in the state that everything that you all like e- that everything's okay right now. That you ultimately you have everything that you need. When you put yourself in that state that you're grateful for everything that's already shown up in your life, then you're by looking and focusing on the good and the abundance and the things that you already have, then you're raising your vibration and you're just helping. First of all, you're letting go of all the things that you don't have and focusing on the things that you do have. And one of the reasons why we try to manifest things is because we believe that that thing's going to make us happy when we get
Mm.
it. And there's really no amount of manifesting things that is truly gonna make you, like turn you into from a unhappy or not happy state into like, okay, now that I have this thing, I'm gonna be happy for the rest of my life. Like none of these things actually make that happen long term. Like you might actually feel a temporary moment of pleasure and satisfaction over receiving something
Mhm.
and have the acknowledgement and have the celebration,
Yeah.
but those feelings eventually wear off, and if you're
Right.
just not happy by nature, then no amount of manifesting is going to make you and turn you into a happy person for the long term. So that's what gratitude does is gratitude helps you to focus on all the things that you have already manifested and be grateful for those things. And the more grateful you are for those things, the more that you're going to be in a, happy, positive, resourceful state. And when you're in a happy, positive, resourceful state, you're more magnetic, you're more resourceful, you're, going to see things that maybe you wouldn't see if you're not in that state. And when you're in that clinging state and you're very narrowly focused. And so it just kind of, being at peace, being happy is really the goal of life. That's what we ultimately want. So magically, when we put ourselves there into that state of peace and happiness and gratitude, more things that are in alignment with happiness, peace, and gratitude being present are going to show up. And, so that's just another way to like really let go. And that, that's one of the things that I practice a lot lately. Like when I find myself like complaining about like, oh, my app stuff is taking too long, or our refrigerator broke down.
Mm.
Pretty much like the first few days, back at home. And so I've got all these like stupid things that I'm dealing with right now. And it's like if I just sit there and go like, "My broken refrigerator, we can't even cool our food down like normal people." Um,
Mhm.
look at how we're living. It's like, well, no, look at how we're living. Like, I mean, we have to go to the grocery store and get some ice, and fill up our little ice chest, and that's fine. The refrigerator is going to be fixed. We live in a beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood. We are we have our lives, the air in our lungs. We have all these beautiful things around us, and we can go around and we can just really feel the gratitude for all the things that we do have right now. And I guarantee you, feeling like that is going to help get this fridge fixed much faster because I'm going to be in a better mood. I'm letting go of it, and I'm just in a more resourceful state and coming from a place of plenty and abundance and happiness and peace about it. So that's ultimately how you shift yourself from that, nothing's going right, and I'm can't let go of this thing, and when's it going to happen? It's not happening fast enough. You just start to actually start to think about all the good things that are happening, and then that's going to attract more good things to happen.
I'm just reminded of you might as well just be grateful and be positive. So, any closing thoughts?
That's essentially it. I mean, when you allow yourself to just be with the fact that, everything is actually divine and perfect, and everything comes essentially in divine timing. And you have that faith, and you have that trust, and you have that belief, and you're aligning yourself, and you're doing your work to align yourself with the manifesting conditions that create what you want. Everything eventually does fall into place.
Awesome. Great talking to you today, Victoria.
Great talking to you too, Jim.
Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. Be sure and download the HypnoCloud app. Leave us reviews on all the popular places. If you really got something out of this, shoot an email over, a message over to Victoria. Let her know what kind of impact we're making on your life. Take care.
Absolutely. And thanks so much for being a great co host. And thank you guys so much for listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast. We'll see you next time.